everybody. Welcome to the Fandom Post Radio Podcast. I am your host, Kate, and joining me this week is DJ.
I am not your host, DJ.
And Kestrel.
Yo.
And we forgot to tell Cain this was happening, so he's not here.
Well, we said it several times. He just hasn't seen it, or did see it and chose to ignore it. We don't know, because he's missing.
Missing makes it sound bad at this the state of the world.
Well, we don't know. It might be.
I was
Cain,
talking to Cain like a few hours ago, so I'm going to say it's not
Well, he's
that.
Confirmed alive, then.
Yes.
Where were you talking to Cain? Super secret Slack conversations?
Yes. By that, you mean just a regular chat?
Well, it wasn't in the window, so.
Yeah, it wasn't the podcast chat.
Ooh. Kestrel's got a super secret chat that I'm not invited to.
Am I not allowed to have private conversations with people?
No, you're totally allowed to have private conversations with people.
Who talks to people?
Apparently nobody.
Nobody right now. Nobody's allowed to touch, see each other. It's horrific.
I'm all about it. This is the life that I have been training for. I'm a social distancing expert.
That was all my friends, but I'm like, how are y'all holding up? And they're like, great, we're antisocial.
What do you mean? What's happening?
It's like, okay, they're fine. So yeah, we're on week whatever, pandemic 2020. Bernie and Phil's died, and that made me sad. Nobody knows.
I don't know who that is.
DJ has no clue. I don't know if Bernie and
clue.
Phil's had commercials up in Vermont.
I have never heard of whatever that is.
They
They
are
have a different Bernie over there.
Yeah,
That's
that was
true.
they sell furniture.
Okay.
New England is very big. Well, okay, Massachusetts in particular is very big on like furniture stores, and yeah, like
It's a weird thing to specialize in.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. There's like a lot of them, and they all used to make very elaborate commercials on TV. And there was this furniture store. Yeah, so there were like 5 competing small furniture chains that often made very elaborate commercials and jingles and all sorts of shit. So, yeah, and they were one of them. And the kids had taken over the business anyway, but that still makes me sad because they had a catchy jingle and stuff. Anyway, that was my favorite. That was like the most recent famous person dying of COVID. So
Was that a famous person, or was that someone who people from Plymouth, Massachusetts in their mid to late 30s would know?
No, it was all like Eastern New England. All of Eastern New England.
Regionally famous.
Regionally famous, yeah. Like, you know...
It's like if the Texas Hammer died from COVID-19.
Sure. I don't know who that is, so yes.
He is the fucking man when it comes to commercials. He's got like this crazy-ass voice that I can't even begin to emulate, and he's just super aggressive. He's an insurance dude. He's like... just fucking talking about beating the shit out of insurance companies to get what you deserve. He's Bill Adler, the Texas Hammer. It's great.
Yes, so... anime. Spring season is happening, but not really happening. Because a bunch of stuff keeps getting postponed, and a bunch of the summer season is going to get postponed.
Yeah, there probably won't be a summer season, from what people are saying.
Yeah. Unless they can figure out a way of digitally working from their houses.
I mean, they've been doing that as much as possible, but it's getting less and less possible to run a business, so... yeah. I wouldn't count on there being a summer season.
Or fall, at the rate we're going, so...
yeah, who knows?
That awesome fall that I was so looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, probably anything that has a date right now is going to change.
Yeah, let's jump into the news and get this over with.
Yeah, so I didn't really include any of the, everything is canceled, everything's delayed, everything is question mark news items. But there were a couple of things announced, which, who knows when they'll come. So one of them, kind of obvious, My Hero Academia ended a season, so it announced the next season, just like it does every time. It's going on season 5 now. So that's always good news.
I liked the end of that season.
Yeah, that final episode was so good.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I like Endeavor now.
I know, it was crazy. Like, within one episode, it's like, holy shit.
Just completely changed my opinion of him. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Also, Hawks is a cool dude.
Pretty cool, yeah.
And Mirko's a babe, so...
Yeah, so that's happening, maybe sometime. It doesn't have a time frame yet anyway, so who knows. I would imagine mid to late 2021 at this point. And then other piece of news, the Arya anime series is getting an anime film adaptation for its 15th anniversary of the original anime. It got a 10th anniversary special with the Blu-ray box set in 2015, I guess. And that was just a little side story sequel OVA. And Right Stuff just finished putting out all the Kickstarter rewards for that series. Every bit of animation that existed so far, dubbed and on Blu-ray. And then the fucking super special art book, which is really nice, just shipped like a few weeks ago.
So of course it was time to announce more stuff.
It was like they sent out the we're officially done with the Kickstarter email, like, I don't know, less than a week ago, and then now this new adaptation is announced. But hopefully that means that they will get it immediately and dub it and put it on Blu-ray and release it. Yeah, so it's a good time for Arya between all that and the regular editions of those Blu-rays are starting to become available. I think most of them are at this point, for the wide audience. And the Arya the Masterpiece manga collector's editions are, I think, most of the way released now. I just read Volume 5 last night. I think there's going to be 7 total. So yeah, it's a good time.
Oh, I have to ask you, who's the translator on that is willing to work with Tokyo Pop?
Probably someone who likes money. Let's see. I can just barely reach it. All right. Translator for that is great radio, guys. Katie Kimura.
I don't know who that is, but I don't know who any translators are. So
I don't know many translators other than Stephen Paul, but Katie Kimura is the translator.
I wish Tokyo Pop didn't exist completely.
That's how I feel about a lot of things.
I'm glad that they are putting out these very nice releases of Arya, and they're starting to license and release some more good new stuff. So I'm happy.
Ooh to them.
What's your problem with them, Kate?
We've done like
I think we did a whole episode on this.
We did not, but it turned into a whole episode of it because someone mentioned that Tokyo
I vaguely remember this.
Yeah.
All right, don't tell me what your problem is then.
They have a lot.
Episode.
Whatever that episode was on, I laid all that out. They were bad. Okay, that's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't pay their people very well. Also, tricked a bunch of people into signing bad contracts and then basically stealing their shit, but then sitting on it so that they couldn't go take it elsewhere. They were very bad to original creators, very cheap at everything else. And then basically shut down because the guy who ran the company is a dipshit. And just said, fuck, this isn't... He basically, like, yeah, fuck all these guys, and then left. And pulled out of the U.S. market for, 15 years.
It was,
Alrighty.
Maybe 10 years?
I don't know.
Somewhere between
he pulled
5
out for
and
a
10
while.
years.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if I have opinion on them. Yeah, a lot of people got their start there. But that's, and they released all this stuff into the market, but they're shit, so... Why? Sorry, there's a lot of weird noises coming from the other half of my house. Yeah, area. Cool.
All right.
So that's what I've got for news. I don't know if we want to specify
I don't have
any
a-
of the
I had
things
were
that were
delay stuff.
Yeah, you can
So.
mention those specifically if you'd like.
Okay, well, Origairu was delayed. I don't know if we talked about that in the last episode or not.
No, I don't think so.
So I'm upset about that. The anime about fishing girls was announced today that it would be delayed, and that makes me relatively sad because that show is cute, and we're only going to get 4 episodes of it. What else was delayed? What was the other show that? Oh, ReZero, which we also talked about. And those are the 3 that are sticking in my head for delays right now. But there are plenty of others.
Yeah.
Pretty much half of the things that aired or were supposed to air this season are now not. So rip.
Yeah, and considering some of these series are releasing several episodes and then announcing as recently as today that the rest will be indefinitely delayed. Who knows how many of the currently airing series are going to make it to the end of the season as intended.
Yeah. That's depressing.
Yeah, and what we were alluding to earlier, some animators have been going to Twitter to be like, yeah, we're probably not going to have a summer season. It's not looking good.
What are we going to do if that happens?
I'll
We're going to have to, find another hobby.
play a video game.
Kestrel playing a video
Hey,
game?
I've played an hour of Final Fantasy VII Remake already. And
You know,
it's
I
only
came
been out for a
so
week.
close. I came so close to buying that the other day, and I got Persona 5 Royal instead. So now I've got another 200 hours of gameplay
Oh,
before I
God.
could potentially buy Final Fantasy VII.
I've never finished a Persona game because they're too fucking long.
They're very long. It was I was almost pushed over the edge in favor of Final Fantasy though, because I saw Jessie's updated model for the first time, and oh my god, she's so cute.
Yeah, and the first few hours of the game, you're just hanging out with Jessie.
I am oh my god. That's why I wanted to buy it, and she's super flirty, and it's like, man.
Yeah, she's super horny for Cloud.
Yeah. Too horny. Is it okay for this to be a thing?
I have no nostalgia for Final Fantasy VII. I've never played it. And
you don't need it. It's
I'm-
just a game.
yeah, but I kind of hate every Final Fantasy character from most of the Final Fantasy games.
Why?
You hate everything that's
They
popular.
No, it's not that. It's just the I don't know. I've never really liked a cast of a Final Fantasy game.
I still am in love with Lightning.
Oh,
I love her. She's so badass.
She's literally just Girl Cloud.
She shoots people with her sword.
It's true. There's a lot of shooting people with swords in Final Fantasy.
It's great.
ugh.
Ugh. A
Ugh.
beloved franchise. God. Disgusting. Should be ashamed.
It's not. I played a lot of Final Fantasy games, and I'm good. I pre-ordered Trials of Mana.
Which is a sequel to a spin-off of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, yes. Better cast though.
Yup.
Okay, fine.
All right, so now that our 2 video games that we talk about are out of the way.
I'm still
guess
playing
it's-
Neo 2.
Are you?
Yeah.
I started New Game Plus, but I don't know how much of it I'll play because Persona. But anyway,
Yeah.
anime, which is the real
Anime.
reason several people are here to listen to this. This season is... I feel like the shows I am watching are pretty good.
Yeah.
There just aren't a lot of them.
Yep.
I watched new Kaguya-sama yesterday, and it is just more of the first season of Kaguya-sama, so I'm all about it. It has not changed at all.
I think it's off to a very good start. I think throughout the first season, there were definitely vignettes that didn't really grab me, especially in the beginning, but every single one of the first episode of this second season were just knocked out of the park for me, so I'm super happy.
Yeah, I like that it opened with Hayasaka because
Yep.
she's cool and I want more of her. And it's just that was probably my favorite one from the first episode.
It was a very good way to open it.
It was. It's just a reminder of the type of show Kaguya-sama is. It's just very over the top and very funny. So, yeah, I'm into it, and everybody else is also into it. So it's cool liking the popular thing.
Yeah, it's nice that, fingers crossed makes it through, but that was kind of the one big anticipated show that did slip through after ReZero and Oregairu didn't.
Yeah, I was worried this would be gone too. But yeah, we've got Kaguya-sama, we've got Fruits Basket as well, which I can't remember if you finished the first revamped season of or not.
Yes, which is why I'm watching the second one.
Oh, are you? I didn't see did you post your thing?
Yeah, I did like 5 minutes
You did?
ago.
Oh, okay, I'm in a different Discord channel. But, yeah, I am glad that those two still managed to make it through, because without Kaguya-sama, this season would be not funny enough.
That's accurate.
That's like the comedy that you get this season. There's nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it won like best comedy and best romance of last year, and I think it deserved both of those pretty well.
Yeah, I read every single thing it won in the Crunchyroll Awards.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so, I think we've discussed that comedy anime doesn't always land for you, and this is a big exception, so it's definitely good to have it.
It's like the perfect blend of like smart comedy and just like ridiculous weird shit.
Yeah, at the beginning of the first season, I wasn't that sure that it was my brand of comedy, but now I'm very happy with it.
I hope that we get a new Chica dance.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the same thing. But like,
I wonder,
can you live up to that?
What if they do one for Kaguya and she gets a dance?
But
which
like,
won't happen.
Just anything.
But what if?
Anything in that realm, I feel like you're just walking into disappointment.
Yeah, we need something, though. They can't just put that at the end of one episode and just that's all we ever get. That's not fair.
It was so random, too.
Yeah, it's been a year. Like, okay, give us something. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next step. I want something that I'm going to come back to every day for like 2 months.
I want to see one with Hayasaka.
Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking. That would be great because she definitely can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she can do everything.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, just whatever.
I want to see one with completely deadpan Hayasaka, but I also want to see one with Hayasaka just switching her character every few seconds.
That would but those are both realistic scenarios.
Right.
Or we could get an Ishigami dance, which
yep.
would be great, but won't happen.
And halfway through, someone interrupts him, and he just sulks out, depressed.
Yeah. Realistic scenario. Kaguya-sama's good.
Yep.
You should watch it if you don't watch it. Kate.
Yes.
Why don't you watch Kaguya-sama? What's your reason for not watching that?
Never heard of it.
No,
I've heard of it. I'm just saying.
It's like we've talked about it, like, in at least 10 different episodes.
I don't know. Why don't I watch most of the things that come out every season?
Yeah. That is the question.
It didn't fit my MO, so I'm like, nah.
Well, you're missing out. There's a dog in the first episode this season.
Okay.
Do you like
a cat
dogs?
person. I'm a cat person.
Well, Kaguya is a cat, basically.
I was going to go find a picture of Kaguya as a cat.
Oh my god, there are probably like 8 on my phone.
Should I be concerned?
No,
I mean, probably, but not because of that.
Maybe a little bit, but no more than normal.
Right. This isn't anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
It's
cute. Cat-like.
I'm not big into romance shows.
It's like, well, I mean, it is a romance, but it's not.
Yeah.
That's not like I mean, it is the focal point, but it's I don't know. It's hard to call it a romance show, but it's also easy to call it a romance. You don't get it unless you watch it.
I mean, I think the premise
it's
is
a romance
pretty easy to
show
describe.
aimed at dudes.
That is not. It's a romance show aimed at people with a sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, every anime and manga is technically aimed at specifically one gender, but that doesn't mean that they're all not loved by both. It's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's kind of. But do you disagree with that?
No, I'm just no. You're right. I mean, everything runs in either like a men's magazine or women's magazine, but the I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why I don't care about it. Oh, look, she's got cat ears. Cute.
Oh my god.
They have very moe designs going on here.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. It's it's as moe as can get, pretty much.
Yeah.
The amount of facial expressions too. It adds to the cuteness level. Which is why her and Chico were both top 5 in their season.
Why did she have red eyes? Is she a demon?
I'm
She
kind
has
of.
red eyes. The character in my avatar has red eyes. She's not a demon.
You never ask, like, why does this character have blue hair?
No.
Why is their hair so sharp?
Also that.
Cause hair is sharp, man.
Why does this character's hair look like a green onion?
Hey, my niece got a hair stuck in her tongue apparently yesterday, so
Cool.
hair's sharp. So yeah, watch out for the sharp hair, man.
I don't think you
That's
can
my
put
public
the-
service announcement.
I don't think you can put the green onion hair in the same category, considering how often you complain about that, DJ.
That's true. Any chance that I get, I have to throw that in there. And if I don't get a chance, I make one.
That's true. You just did. Speaking of hair, Dr. Stone's dumb. Ha!
I didn't say that this time.
But mostly.
Yeah, that's happened on several occasions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kate, what are you watching?
Well, I am watching Listeners, which you've dropped apparently.
Yeah, because Tuesday's my day to watch anime. I'm recording this on Wednesday for those who don't know. And I was sitting down yesterday and I watched everything else and I was like, Listeners, I really just don't want to watch it. I realized in that moment, I'm not obligated to watch things. I'm not reviewing it. So it's like, if I don't get enjoyment from this, why don't I just not watch it? And so that's what happened.
How many years did it take to come to this realization?
I come to that realization for like 1 or 2 specific shows once a year.
Mm.
And this is just one of them. And it wasn't like ridiculously bad or anything like that. It was okay, I guess. It's just so generic and I just don't care.
It is very generic, but I don't know. It's in this weird situation where it's like, if you're ripping off your own material, what does that make it?
It's like, is it even its own material though? Because I feel like every single thing in the show has been done by someone else, but better.
Well, the person working on it, or, basically doing most of the heavy lifting, is just cribbing stuff from his previous series and throwing it in here. So
I feel like he was just pitched something and was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, I need money. And so that's what happened. That's what it feels like. It feels like the writer doesn't care.
Yeah, so we had discussed this a little bit before it started, but this is an original series by Jin, who is the guy who did the Kaguya project, Mikaku City Actors, basically a series of Vocaloid songs that form a story that they adapted an anime out of, and like light novels and manga and shit. And it's written by Dai Sato, who is an extremely prolific anime writer of many acclaimed series. So what kind of stuff is it like lifting from?
Amnesiac girl who is in control of a mech meets a boy who has dreams of becoming like a big shot technician in the world of player equipment things, and they're fighting giant monsters It's a mech dystopia in a world without music. Where boy finds girl in dump that is a player who is a mech pilot who plugs into an amp that then turns into a mech, and then they battle giant fuzzy monsters called Earless with the power of music, maybe? Or just sound, 'cause I don't think they're actually playing music.
Yeah, they weren't. There was, for like a show that uses so much music terminology created by a musician with buildings named after famous rock bands, there was not one song in the fucking first episode.
Wow.
And that was weird. There's just so much going on here that no, I can't.
Yeah, there's no real song in this second episode either. Like, and I mean, there's background music and stuff, but there's no like performances or anything. It's just, we're fighting on a mech. Oh, we're fighting these things. Oh, now there's these crazy other mech people coming after us. Yeah, it's very strange. Episode 2, which you didn't watch, is very interesting because they introduced these 3 ladies who were also players who apparently were famous, which was kind of funny. And because they show up and the kid, Echo, knows exactly who they are, and he's like, "Can I have your autograph?" And they're like totally confused. But their like whole thing was they're Dadaists, and if you don't know anything about that art movement, everything that was going on made no fucking sense. Like, there was a giant urinal, and they were just rambling incoherently, which normally is like, oh god, this is anime with people rambling incoherently about plot points that don't make sense. But that was all part of their shtick, so that was actually pretty clever, except I don't think anybody in the audience knows enough about, like, Dadaist manifestos for that to be picked up on. Yeah, it's weird. The show's weird. The show looks nice. It's very odd. I don't even think
it looks nice.
It looks okay.
I think the character designs are very bad. Animation-wise, it's fine. It's like it's animated well, but the art sucks. That's how I would say.
Well, that's just your opinion, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely sounds like he's reusing a lot from Eureka 7.
Yeah.
And yeah, that had every character and episode named after music shit too. So it makes sense. It's super weird that it's not like a music anime.
Yeah, they should have just done that.
Yeah. Like, I just assumed they'd be fighting with, like, you know, some fucking sweet song every episode, and that would be
she just gets like, there's just green lights go everywhere, and like there's yelling, and that's it. Like, that's how they fight. And I don't even like fully understand what happened again. Like, I watched the whole episode and I'm like, wait, how did they win?
They blast everybody away with the power of amps.
Yeah, it's just they like turned the amp really loud, and then like she got green, and then all the monsters were like, "Oh, we better go," and that was it.
Green waves equal noise, so yeah, they were just blasting noise at the earless, and the earless evaporated.
So it's like the Fake Grand Order anime when it gets to a battle scene. Just blast noise.
It wasn't that bad.
Just crank up the amp.
No, Map is animating it, so it still looks semi decent. So
that has nothing to do with the sound design.
Oh, sound is just I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess.
Good. Also, doesn't have anything to do with the sound design, but they got good actors. So
it is weird that there's no real music involved in the stuff going on.
Yeah, that seems like literally the only point of this story.
Oh, so there's a dude in the show that will show up eventually that looks like Prince. So, the disappeared hero that everybody was like, oh, is named Jimmy Stonefree, who appears to be a white woman and not a black dude. So
yeah, that's what I'm confused about, because that white woman is also voiced by Jun Fukuyama, who like is not a white woman at all.
He's neither of those things.
I don't know.
Is the character actually female and voiced
I
by
don't think
Shuzu
so.
Yama?
I think it's
Okay.
just like a relatively androgynous looking, long, white haired boy.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. But wearing a half shirt. I don't know. They haven't actually shown up really in the show yet, so.
They say his name really dramatically in the first episode, though.
Yeah.
It was probably my favorite part of the one episode I watched. Because it's like, it just shows up out of nowhere. Like the mayor is just having like a normal talk with, I think, himself. So not that normal. But like it's normal sentence, and then he's just like, Jimmy Stone free. And then like the rest of the sentence is just normal as well.
That does sound like it would be the best part of it.
It was easily the best part of it. So that's listeners.
Listeners is weird. And kind of fun, but very weird. It also reminds me a lot of, like, Rage of Bahamut. At least in the dynamic between the lead girl and the lead kid. Like, lead girl might as well be crazy girl from Rage of Bahamut, because...
I feel like the dynamic between those two characters wasn't much different from any, like, dystopian shonen series with, like, the main dude who's just, like, trying to be someone and the girl who, like, is someone. It's
yeah,
like
I don't
Gurren
know.
Lagann right there, too.
I mean, she's basically the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, so, yeah.
Yeah, I got that vibe as well, but not, like, super manic. Like, she's pretty rational, and
Yeah,
Echo
she's...
is just, like, a little bitch. It's like, I can't leave my home because I can't. Like, that's the reason.
I do kind of like how the first episode ended with them thinking they killed the mayor and they just fled town. They were like, oh shit, we gotta go. And then they just hopped on a train and left and didn't know where they were going. Which is how episode 2 opens up, when they're kind of sitting there on the train going, so now what do? We killed the mayor.
That's such, like, a music anime/music story trope to just get on a train and go somewhere.
Yep.
But that's where my thoughts on the show end, because I only watched the first episode.
Oh, I don't know. I'll keep you updated on where the craziness goes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah. What else we got? Kestrel is watching significantly more than me, and there's got to be something we have in common. Let's talk about Sing Yesterday for me.
Okay.
I like this show. I was saying this in the Slack chat the other day, but I am very surprised that Doga Kobo is making something as serious as this. I have not looked up anything about the show. I haven't read a synopsis. I don't know if music actually has any part in this show. But the title slightly alludes to that. Kestrel, do you have any idea if music is actually involved in this, or is it just like a thing?
I have no idea.
All right.
I assume the title has something to do with the series, and someone will sing the Beatles song Yesterday at some point, but maybe not.
Who knows? I like it a lot. I think Doga Kobo is using their affinity for cute girls to their advantage in something like this. I mean, there hasn't been music yet, but I get sort of Beck vibes where it's just like a very realistic, down-to-earth setting.
Yes.
Just realistic characters, and it's cool seeing something like that isn't exaggerated in pretty much any way. It's just like a dude who is struggling to really make it through the workforce, or into the workforce for that matter, and seeing a girl he was close with actually make something of herself, and that dynamic between them is cool. And then there's just the other Manic Pixie Dream Girl, who is the outlier of the show, kind of just there to shake things up, and it's cool. I like it a lot so far, but I mean, who knows where it'll go.
Yeah, I very much agree with the Beck comparison. It definitely has that kind of atmospheric slice of life feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
There are only a handful of series that give me those kind of vibes, and those are definitely two of them. It had me thinking of Welcome to the NHK a little bit at times. Yeah. Some of the dynamics between like Rikuo and both girls, like there's he's kind of made nothing of himself. There's a girl who just kind of shows up and is like, I will save you and heal you and I'm perfect, and something's clearly wrong about that. And then there's his, former classmate from college who he's pining for. And in the more serious, down-to-earth, slice of lifey moments of Welcome to NHK, I feel like it kind of carries that vibe as well. So I definitely like that kind of series, and since we don't get it that often, I'm hoping that this delivers like a really compelling plot, or at least character story, because I would like to really get something out of it. And I do have a lot of empathy for the protagonist, for his like excuse of why he doesn't do anything with his life, just that fear of failure, and that if he doesn't try then he can't fail. That resonates with me a lot. So yeah, I hope that the character study gets really solid, and that Haru becomes more human, and we get to see what really makes her tick. She seems a little too perfect and, inexplicably in love with the protagonist at this point.
Yeah, characters like Haru and Misaki was her name in NHK, right? Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, characters who are sort of thrown into this world without really... They're unrealistic by comparison to everyone else in the show. Mm-hmm. And putting in a character so different from everyone else always makes things kind of weird, but like weird in a good way, where it's like someone showing up and being like, I'm going to take this world that has become too much, and I'm going to show you that it can be more or won't be more, or go in the complete opposite direction and sort of just destroy itself. So I get that sort of vibe from Haru. I think it's cool that she has a crow on her shoulder all the time.
That's kind of weird.
Adding to the layer of how not realistic she is by comparison. Yeah, but she's adorable. And I like Chinako as well. I think that she is also very relatable in a slightly different way from Rikuo. I feel like Rikuo, like 4 or 5 years ago, I would have related to more, but now it's like we're getting to that age where it's like, okay, we need careers. Like we gotta actually like do something. And she's in that same vibe while also dealing with ridiculous trauma from her past. So her and Rikuo together, I think, make a really good combination. And if I had to take sides, I want her with Rikuo right now more. But who knows if further down the line that'll change, because Haru, I'm sure, will have some ridiculously tragic past as well, which has also been alluded to at several points in the first couple episodes.
Yeah, and that's definitely, like, as far as realism, like, in NHK, all the main characters have some level of exaggeration, usually for comical effect, but the fact that Misaki is such a purely positive force in a series that's otherwise so cynical is what makes her stand out and seem wrong, and why it's important that you peel off the layers and realize that it's all a facade. And I hope to experience the same with Haru.
Everybody in that show is so good. NHK is like a must-watch series.
What was that?
I said NHK is like a must-watch series for everybody, pretty much. It's so good. I have people like, well, I'm going to call them friends because they are my friends, and I shouldn't call them people because that's rude. I have friends who actively could not finish the show because it was too close to home.
I had a friend who isn't even like a super otaku, and he does a lot with his life, but after watching that show, he kind of fell into a depression for a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll fuck you up. But then there's the Ponzi scheme episode, or the pyramid scheme episode, which is like one part of that show that always just sticks out in my mind. Where I'm like, wait, how did this happen?
It is what I think about every time the concept of pyramid schemes comes up.
It's like, how did that get in there?
Something.
There are a few things in that show where it's just like, wait, what? Like the Death
There's just
Island?
a lot of like really dark looks at society, and that's pretty much what the running theme is.
Yeah.
Here are like 5
Yeah.
characters. They're basically the only characters in the show, and all of them have fallen into some terrible pit of humanity that is difficult to escape from. But yeah, I think,
oh man,
because that same friend, around the same time, we watched 5 centimeters per second with him, and what I kind of found interesting in comparing those two is that NHK seems much darker, but ultimately has an optimistic ending, whereas 5 centimeters per second seems more lighthearted for most of its run, but it has a very pessimistic ending.
yeah, fucking the ending of that. Apart from the music video, because the music video I could have done without, but the actual ending is rough. I'm weird about 5 centimeters because I feel like that weird shift to lightheartedness after the first part of it was odd. Like, just, I don't know. I'm all about tonal flipping, but I don't think it really worked as well.
But like the first part was, cute kid puppy love. It was just a tinge of existential despair.
Yeah, it was
right.
like a melancholic sort of happiness where it's like,
but you had
this
that with the
isn't
second
gonna
part
last.
too, because it's like the reason it was such a tonal shift is because it shifted perspectives to this, Genki girl.
Yeah.
And then it ends. Yeah,
I liked her.
It ends
she was cute.
like the movie itself does, with just a sense of, maybe my dreams won't come true. Maybe things won't work out.
Maybe life sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, like, old school Shinkai way of looking at things. Like, cute stuff happens, but maybe everything actually sucks. And now it's like, cute stuff happens, and life does suck, but maybe it can be good. So, good for him for changing his perspective. Or at least tricking us into thinking he's changed his perspective. Because Garden of Words also had a very somber
Garden of
ending
Words
as well.
not super happy.
No, nothing about it was happy. That relationship was just destined to fail from the beginning, though. Because
yeah, totally,
student teacher. That doesn't normally
I don't
work.
think,
but it does work in Lessons in Love, which you should download now.
Jesus. Yeah, I think Your Name was kind of the turning point in a lot of ways for Shinkai's career, but including just optimism at all.
Yeah, if he fucked me over with a sad ending, I would have gone on strike against Shinkai for the rest of my life. Like, you can't keep doing that to me.
Right,
it
exactly.
Literally would have been the same thing.
It had to be the other way.
Which is like why I was worried about him doing it again, because it's like, this is like a big budget movie, and like not everybody saw 5 centimeters. And what if he just he just did it again?
A lot, so there was a definite risk for that. That's kind of why I feel like, to people who have seen Shinkai's previous works, that was entirely intentional, because he wanted everyone to be like, "You motherfucker, are you going to do it to me again?"
Yeah, and it very much worked. Like, I was clenching the sides of my seat in the theater, and I'm like, "Don't you fucking dare!"
I was looking.
Oh, it hurt. They like walk past each other, and I'm like, exactly. I'm gonna fucking kill somebody.
Like, I had already seen it at that point, because I had reviewed it, but I had a whole line of friends that I brought to see it when it came to the theaters, and I was just looking down at the ones who have seen 5 centimeters and just watching their reaction, being like, "You motherfucker, you're gonna do this again."
Oh my god, he's so good. Yeah, there aren't a lot of directors that can like get a rise out of me like that, but absolutely
such a
Shinkai.
perfectly constructed movie because there are
so many good moments in that movie.
Like, this is specifically for people who have watched these other specific Shinkai movies and are expecting this specific thing. Like, it's so many levels of like meta manipulation.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, what a guy.
Well, that was a tangent off of a tangent off of a tangent.
Yeah, but I mean, we've only got like 10 shows to talk about this season, so anything that we can talk about, we should. But let's talk about something that is airing. And I guess we should include Kate this time because she didn't get to talk about our last 3 things. So, Kate, there are 2 other shows that you're watching. There is...
Yes.
Is it pronounced art or arte?
Arte.
Artie.
It's Artie.
Yeah, it's arte.
Talk about that.
It's arte. It's one of those situations where I realized after watching the first episode and going back and doing research, I'm like, oh, it's not just a really on the nose name. They were actually kind of referencing a real artist who lived and worked in the Renaissance period.
Is this the person named Art after?
Artemisia?
That's a cool name.
Yeah, so...
You named my next pet.
So, yeah, I was like, oh, so, yeah, okay, it is a real thing. But, yeah, Arte is a story about a girl who lives in Florence during the Renaissance, and her father dies, and her father kind of doted on her and let her do whatever, so he let her do art all the time until her mother tries to marry her or is about to, make her stop working on artwork and prepare herself to, be married off, essentially. And she's like, hell no, I want to be an artist, and runs off to the city to try to find a workshop that will take her in, and it has the door slammed in her face in every place. Well, not even slammed in her face, more like they just would like straight throwing her on the street, which they probably would not have done. And because she's a girl. So by episode 2, this you can't do this because you're a woman thing seems so extraordinarily stressed in the story that I'm like, this is a little heavy-handed. And then I did some more research, and apparently, if you're a woman in the streets of Florence, dudes would just chase you, apparently, at that time period. So, yeah, it's been shoujo anime kind of, even though I think it ran in a Seinen magazine, up to the point where it's all like, girl power, I can do this. But, yeah, it's not a biography of Artemisia, what's-her-face, who was the famous artist who did a lot of paintings of biblical women killing dudes, which is kind of unfortunate because that would probably make a way cooler story if it was a biography of her. But it's just kind of cute shoujo-y stuff where she's like, I'm gonna be an artist. And the guy she ends up who she apprentices under is like a total hard ass who has no apprentices, and he's like lives by himself, and he's like, yeah, you can live on the roof in the shed on my roof. Go ahead, fix up the shed, and then she has to fix up the shed. So as of episode 2, she's been given 3 tasks, and all of them involve like heavy physical labor that doesn't seem to have anything to do with like artistic ability. So I'm hoping they move on to the art soon.
What if it's
right
just
now
an
it's
entire
just
series of her like lifting boxes?
So
yeah,
because
it was
the
like
music anime doesn't have any music, and the art anime doesn't have any art.
There's art, but it's not at the forefront yet. Like they
there's
did
a painting in the
explain.
background.
They explained how to prep a wooden board to become a canvas for tempera paints, and that's about as much art discussion as has happened. So, yeah, it's not the most historically accurate thing in the world, and the parts that you don't think would be historically accurate probably are, but then the rest is like, does that thing where the Japanese anime people decide to just throw in Japanese body language that doesn't make any sense for the time period and totally pulls me out of the experience, but it's like, come on, Japan. You know you're the only... Asia bows. Nobody else in the Western world does that in that manner. Stop having her apologize and bend her head at everybody. When you have a girl sitting there going, please forgive me, and bowing from, like, the waist down, you know, it's like, no?
They're doing their best.
Renaissance? Well, it's so funny because they pay attention to, like, all the scenery and, like, the names and the clothing, and then they do that. It's like, oh. Okay. And the language. It's just random Japanese, you know. The usual. So, yeah, that's a show. It looks nice, but it needs to pick up the something. It needs to get past the heavy lifting stage of, and the whole, you can't do this because you're a girl, and without going into the whole, like, yeah, it's because you can't do this because you're an upper class woman who should not be lifting a finger and be staying inside, out of the eyesight of men, cloistered. But that whole cultural context is missing. It's just, you can't do this because you're a girl. So, not as good as I was hoping it would be. The first episode seemed promising. The second one was kind of like, whoops. But, I mean, it's still likable lead characters and stuff, and you're still rooting for her. It's just, yeah. I wish it was more historically accurate. So that's Arte. Cool.
Well, I'm probably not going to watch that. But I'm glad that you are watching it.
You're glad I'm watching something that
is an absolute trash.
You have 3 whole shows this season. That never happens.
Yeah, so far I'm good with what I'm watching this season because it's not trash. Really, they're like, yeah, but it looks fine and it's okay. It's not like the trash I'm usually watching. Yeah.
So, one show that I've been curious about and haven't watched myself is on Kestrel's list. And I would like to ask him about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kestrel, tell me about Tower of God.
So, Tower of God is a Japanese anime adaptation of a Korean webcomic funded by the American company Crunchyroll, with music by Australian composer Kevin Penker.
That is why I'm curious about this. Because I knew Tower of God. I hadn't read it, but I knew about it. And it's a strange combination of things happening to create this show.
I mean, I don't think it appears to be anything but just an anime, except for the fact that the main character's name is spelled and pronounced differently because it's written out as the Korean word for night and pronounced as the Japanese word for night. That's kind of the only thing that clues you into it not being a completely Japanese production. So yeah, it's got a very unique aesthetic. I think it's kind of trying to match that webcomic feel, but it has some very good design and animation work in it as well. So basically, it's the entire first episode is kind of just like an atmospheric, abstract, almost metaphysical meditation on this world. It doesn't really tell you the story at all. It just kind of immerses you in like atmosphere, and it's an interesting way to start the series. The second and third one just aired, are very much more plot-based, character-based, gets to the story. But it's kind of like a combination of the first arc of Hunter x Hunter, the first arc of Sword Art Online, and I don't know if it really has as many similarities to Made in Abyss as I wanted to, or I'm just trying because it's Kevin Penkin doing music. But basically, it's just this world where the characters are in a tower, and they've only ever known the tower, and they're trying to climb the tower, and there are a series of trials throughout it that they have to overcome to try to reach the top, and a lot of mythical beasts and concepts and psychological tests that involve battling or other just like intellectual or I don't know, innate powers that they have to overcome. So yeah, it's interesting. And the art style, I don't love the character art, mostly because it uses like very dull lines for the characters. But the animation and the artwork for all the backgrounds and creatures and stuff is very good. It's kind of the reverse of Made in Abyss, because a lot of the creatures in Made in Abyss had that kind of rougher, more painted, like, I don't know, more analog, I guess, for lack of a better term, art style, whereas the characters were very sharp, very digital, very modern. And I kind of like to see it as a reverse of Made in Abyss in terms of the trajectory and what Kevin does with the music, because he was always very cognizant about having music that gave the impression of descending throughout Made in Abyss, because that's what the story was about, was characters descending into the abyss, and this is a series about the characters ascending up a tower. So yeah, so well, I would like
just play that soundtrack in reverse.
I would like to believe that he's giving it more of like an uplifting, upward trajectory to the sound and the tone of the music. So yeah, it's an interesting series that gives you some stuff to think about, and once you get 2 or 3 episodes in, you definitely have an idea of what you're in for. But it definitely has a lot of potential to go all kinds of different directions, because it's such a like alien world that they could do anything with it.
Huh. Okay. Well, I need, I think, something else to watch this season. And that was definitely, I'm teetering on it, so I'll probably give it a shot.
And, yeah,
I found
some
Cain
commentary on Tower of God. Timely enough. He says, I haven't watched a bunch, but Tower of God is pretty cool. I like how it threw you into the story, kind of Tarantino style, not a lot of exposition, and the giant alligator guy being comic relief is a fun choice that I endorse. Yeah, that was another thing. Like, the first episode was just so devoid of any, like, comedic moments, because it was just all, like, this, just introducing you to this world and its tone. So then when the second episode kind of kicked off with a giant alligator man being, like, a big comical buffoon, there's a little bit of tonal whiplash there, but I think it's evened out well enough.
Cool. That's all that Cain told us that he was watching.
I'm surprised he's also not watching the Fishing Girls anime, because that seems like
it's a good thing he's not, because he's not going to get much of it.
That is true. But I got some of it, and I guess we can talk about that if we're done with Tower of God. Cool. So there's this anime, and girls go fishing.
Oh, cool.
The end. That's no, it's the other Doga Kobo show from this season, and it once again is filled with nothing but mostly cute girls engaging in one specific activity, and that time that activity is fishing. It's this girl who moves from the city to fucking country area, and she's like, oh my god, country sucks. Why do people like living here? And then she gets roped into fishing by a girl with a strange hat. And now she has been forced to join the fishing club because she was saved from an octopus. And that is the plot of the show. I guess I probably missed some details here.
So is it freshwater fishing, ocean fishing, fly fishing? What is it?
Probably, I don't know, brackish water. I don't know what kind of water it is. Probably fresh.
Dude,
it's close.
You're watching the show and they don't actually
know what kind of water it is. And if they told me, I wasn't paying attention. I'm not watching for the actual fishing knowledge.
I would
because
assume
they're
most
cute.
Of these cute girls doing X shows don't really go into that because it doesn't matter. It's just, you understand the concept of fishing. What if cute girls did it?
This actually goes kind of in depth. I mean, they definitely they go over it's kind of like borderline gross at points because they go over how to make chum and shit, and it's just like a girl with her hands in a bucket like crushing dead fish together. And then the one girl who's from the city is like, yo, what the fuck? Why is this so normal? And all the other girls are like, bitch, please fish. You'll love it. And then she fishes and she kind of loves it. And so that's the show. And it's fun. The girl,
does she freak out removing the fish from the hooks? I mean, does she?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the whole thing, it starts off. She gets there and she just gets coerced into trying fishing because she walks up to some girl and she's like, "What are you doing?" And the girl's like, "I'm fishing." And so she's like, "You should try fishing." And then she tries fishing, and an octopus is caught, and then the octopus lands on the girl in a very cliche turn of events. The tentacles begin to move places they should not. And then she's like, please save me. And so the girl saves her. And then she's like, now you have to join the fishing club. So normal Japanese stuff. And yeah, so she's reluctant to join the club. She tries out fishing again, but with less octopi this time. And she catches a few baby fish and she's like, you know what? This ain't so bad. And now we got a show. And it's cool because even though it's a show about cute girls, none of the girls are particularly that cute. They're very average looking girls with just super country personalities, but the dynamic between all of them is what makes them
average girls doing average things.
Yeah. Average girls doing average things, and it's very cute. I don't know why it works.
I'm weirdly reminded of the end of every Barakamon manga volume where the extra gag comic was always them out crayfishing and the out in the marshy land behind the buildings or whatever, and they'd be out there trying to catch crayfish, and it was always just the most yep, what are you doing? Trying to catch crayfish. Okay. Just the most country ass thing that you could possibly think of.
It sounds
like
the show. It sounds like it could be some sort of intersection of Barakamon and No Non Biori, and yeah. And I don't know, throw in some just straight up cute girl show because neither of those are really that.
Yeah, it's if Dogakobo did a fishing No Non Biori. That's what this is. It works. I like it. But we only get 4 episodes because fuck coronavirus. So, rip.
Man.
All right, what else we got? Should we talk about one of the things Kestrel and I have in common, or should we go to Kate's final show? That's the main question here.
Me and you are watching my final show. Sure. We can talk about that if you wish. We are watching My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. I wrote All Paths Lead to Doom, but same thing. You gave this a B minus?
What do you give it, Kate?
Probably not a B minus, maybe a B. So far. And it's funny. It's funnier than that, though. It's a pretty solid B. So, anyway, this is the next big isekai, big. Not that big. I don't know, people have heard of it. I guess the fans have shortened the name of this to Bacarina. So, because the lead Bacarina because the lead's name is Katarina, so they were calling her Bacarina because
interesting.
She's kind of a spaz. She's it's about a girl who was just a normal otaku, and then she died. And she was reincarnated into the world of a otome game that she had played one time. Except for she was reincarnated as the villain girl in the game. So, and when her body reaches like the age of like 10 or whatever, 10 or 12, and she accidentally bumps her head, she gets back all the memories of her previous life, including all the memories of the game, and realizes that she is doomed to either be killed or exiled if the course of her life's events continue along the path that the games had. So then it becomes her mission to not die, or if she is exiled, to have the skills she needs to survive exiled. And 2 episodes in, and you can already see how all the boys are going to end up falling in love with her. So,
well, it's an otome game,
but
so they're already.
But she is, not the protagonist, and it's a parody of otome games. But yeah, it's still going to turn into a reverse harem anyway.
Yep. And you can already see that her her childhood fiance and her stepbrother and the fiance's brother.
They're like royalty. That shit happens.
Yeah, they're like.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like the third in line or something to the throne, and she's less like a noble family. So, yeah. So they're like, you're gonna get married to this guy eventually.
Yeah.
But she goes hardcore into like attempting to become everything that she like. Apparently there's magic in their world, but it's like not very well explained yet. But she realizes she has earth magic and decides to get really into gardening in order to increase her earth magic. So like she spends the first like 2 episodes gardening and like scaring the hell out of her family because they're like, what is wrong with you? And she's out there gardening all the fucking time because she thinks it's going to make her better at earth magic.
Yeah, it's a fun premise. There are a lot of isekai shows, especially like video gamey ones, where they have a very fun premise, and it's hit or miss whether or not they can get enough mileage out of that to actually make a series work. So far, this one's doing a pretty good job. Obviously, it's still going to become a reverse harem, which isn't necessarily that interesting, but I definitely find it entertaining and charming so far. And those little bits of like her just fucking spending all day gardening are entertaining.
Yeah. And the fact that she's driven by the need to survive, but she's basically sitting there and going and like, no, this person can't, I have to make friends with these people, and then she's making friends with these people, and they're all like infatuating themselves with her. Although in episode 2 she totally accidentally makes one of the other girls
That's true. Yep.
fall in love with her, I think. Yeah.
Wait, so there's
that
3?
happened.
Oh man. Maybe I will watch this.
It's really cute and funny, and it's enjoyable, and all the characters are likable so far. And I don't know, maybe it won't turn into a reverse harem, because in the opening sequence there's a shot with 4 dudes and 4 girls, so maybe they'll just all get paired off to like different people.
That will not happen. That never happens. Everyone gets a significant other. No.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Life doesn't work that
to
way.
See how long we're going to spend with her as a child, because I assume most of it is going to be her as a 17-year-old or whatever. So it'll be interesting when we get that time skip and we actually begin the story of, what is it called, Fortune Lover, the game, and she has to interact with the protagonist of that. I hope she's just like a complete blank slate.
Oh, that would be so funny. That would be so perfect. Yeah, because everybody else has very distinct personalities. But I think it's so funny because at this point in the show, she's like, oh, he's the bad boy who's actually got a dark side, and then you meet him and he's totally not like that, and then you realize some shit must have gone really bad in, like, the game route to turn that person into what they became in the game route, because she's basically counteracting all of that before it can happen.
It's a fun idea to have the knowledge of where these characters go and try to stop it when you have the time.
So, yeah, that's the one show I'm not reviewing. I probably should be, but if I start reviewing it, then it's probably going to tank or something, because curse of me reviewing things, so. But it's good. I'm enjoying it. Another good isekai. Thank God.
There aren't a lot of good ones anymore.
I mean, there are, like, I don't know, 5 or 6. There are
a lot of average ones
that occasionally get new seasons or movies or OVAs.
I want another season of Konosuba.
Did you watch the movie?
I didn't know, because it was in theaters for like 1 day over here, and it sold out
I didn't
immediately.
Get it in theaters either. They put it on Crunchyroll a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Hell yeah. Now that I've actually been able to renew my Crunchyroll membership, I can watch it. Cool.
Oh God, yeah. You should tell people that.
Yeah. Okay. So
story.
This is an issue for a lot of people whose cards expire for their Crunchyroll account. So Crunchyroll does a thing where when you go to sign up for premium, it doesn't let you just sign up for premium. It makes you have the free trial first. So, like, you'll click on, I want premium, and it's like, cool, click on the free trial button. And there's, once again, no option to bypass it. And so it brings you to the thing, and you type in your info, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to pay you money. And then it won't let you pay them money because they're like, sorry, you can only have one free trial per account. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but let me, like, give you the money so I can watch anime again. And there's no option to do that. So what I had to do is go onto the Crunchyroll forums, and there was some person who found a link that just goes past the entire free trial thing. And they have just been giving that link to a bunch of people. And this was a fan. This was not a Crunchyroll staff member. I don't think Crunchyroll has addressed this issue, which has affected many people. But thanks to that one fan on the Crunchyroll forums, I was able to renew my subscription, and I can now watch anime again. So hooray. The end.
Yay.
That's a thing. So if you run into this situation as well, just go on the forums.
That is such a bad UI situation.
Yeah, I don't, like, just fucking give a little button, or put a little button at the bottom. Just be like, I don't want the free trial. That's all they have to do. Like, why are you going to force people to give fucking thing for free?
Already had one.
And then tell them they can't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or be like, oh, returning customer, please pay here, you know.
Yep. Like, I couldn't even, like, just update the payment information or anything like that. It was, you literally have
like
to
a
do
normal
the trial again.
Thing.
Yeah.
That's so fucking weird. How does that happen?
I don't know. It was.
How do you just not copy anybody else's
a good idea.
system?
They were just like, yeah, we can just let people try it again for free. But I guess no one realized that, like, cards expire, and so when that happens, they're screwed.
So yeah, watch that Konosuba. It's fucking great.
Yeah, it's. I've heard it's the reason cinema was invented.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm really happy that quote exists. Okay, so we've knocked everything off of Kate's list. There are a couple things Kestrel and I still have in common. And we could either talk about Kakushigoto or Fruits Basket. I'm going to let Kestrel pick
Cain,
one.
Please.
Cain, please.
Yeah,
Kate, why don't you choose?
Do we have anything?
She's gonna choose Fruits Basket because she can pronounce it.
Right. Do we have anything new to say
Fruits
about
Basket, second season?
Yeah, I want to formally announce that I am on Team Yuki. I don't know if I've announced that prior, but...
Do you know who actually wins in the end? Okay, I'm not gonna say anything.
I hope it is Kagura. I hope that her and Toru fall in love, and I hope that Uo and Hanajima fall in love, and I hope it's just a bunch of lesbian relationships
you're
at
good.
the end. No, I like Fruits Basket a lot. Toru continues to be one of the cutest protagonists of all time, and I love her voice actress, and she's just so goofy. And I don't know who the horse girl is yet, but whoa, she is a babe. I want to meet her. This is the part where Kestrel says that's actually a boy.
That has happened in Fruits Basket already.
that has happened before.
No,
So.
this one is female.
Oh, nice. Cool. You will not be the second boy on my cutest girls list. Shout out to Ruka. No,
That's okay. I was the one
true,
messing
yeah.
up genders of things this week, so apparently. Yeah.
I like Fruits Basket a lot. I like how we got to hang out with the one girl who I can't remember the name of, the one that likes Yuki a lot. But I get it. He's a cool dude. He's handsome. And she's a nice character. And I want to give her a hug.
Have you
That's it.
switched back and forth between Team Yuki and Team Kyo?
No, I have never been on Team Kyo. I get it. Like, he's got a good heart. He's not actually a bad guy. But he's got it's time for him to stop being a little bitch all the time. He's not nice enough to Toru, and Yuki's so nice to her, and so I support that.
Yeah, well,
coupling.
Kyo is a cat. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, Yuki's a rat, but like, I didn't think rats were that proper.
You don't really get that
So.
sense of the Zodiac with him.
I also don't understand, like, that the rat always wins. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a Tom and Jerry thing, but Tom was, or which one was the mouse? Was that Tom? No, Jerry's the mouse, right?
No, Jerry's the
Yeah.
mouse because Tom is a tomcat.
Ah, ha ha ha.
Uh-huh.
But Jerry's not a
You knew
Jerry
you were gonna
mouse.
say that.
Why?
I know,
That was a
that's how I
horrible
knew.
joke. Oh, that's sad. No, yeah, I don't get the whole rat beating the cat thing.
Well, so this is kind of disgusting, but we had a mouse in our house yesterday, and we got to see just how ineffective a cat is at chasing a mouse. So I can see it.
Yo, that happened with my cat in my apartment, like when I still lived in New Jersey, and it was one of the coolest, well, not coolest, but strangest situations of my life, because my cat caught the mouse, and she walks it over to me, and she like stares at me, and then she drops it, and I'm like, oh great, my cat caught a mouse, but the
Of
mouse was
course.
alive, and so it just
Yeah,
fucking,
she was bringing it to
just
you.
books it as soon as she drops it, and I'm like, is this a thing that I
Yeah.
have to deal with now?
Yeah, she was all like, "I'm going to teach you how to hunt now, you inefficient
No,
human."
it was a
Like,
reward for
catch
me
the
for
mouse.
being such a good owner, because I feed her and she's like, here, I caught this for you. She's a good girl. But she should have finished the job because it wound up escaping though,
Growing
so
up,
that's good.
our cats would go hunt mice outside and leave them on our doorstep, but they would never
Yep.
deal with any of the mice inside. But yeah, our cat was trying real hard to catch this mouse, and at some point the mouse like climbed up the wall onto like the I don't know how it got there, but it was on top of the curtain rods, and our cat literally jumped at least 6 feet in the air.
Yep.
It was incredible. But it took several more times of the mouse coming out of its hole for the cat to finally corner it, and then I was able to scoop it up and throw it outside.
Did I tell you about when there was a bat in my house?
No, I've
Oh,
never
that's
experienced
happened to me
that.
twice.
That is the... I didn't know that I was afraid of bats until I had
Yeah,
to
I can see
personally
that.
deal with one. Those things
The
are
problem
fucking
with-
terrifying.
The problem with bats isn't that they are terrifying in themselves, it's just that you don't know
Or
if they have rabies or
some
Yeah,
not.
virus.
like
And
there's
that's
that.
where it becomes terrifying.
What scared me the most was the
Yeah.
fucking noise it made. It's like weird. It's like a high-pitched demonic shrill. And
Well, yeah, it's their echolocation.
I'm
They
aware.
fucking make high-pitched noises.
yeah, I knocked this fucker out. I literally like because like it was
Poor
I like
cat.
yeah, all the cats were freaking, and I like threw them into, not literally throw them, I don't abuse animals, but I put them into my room, and I went up to Becca and I'm like, there's a bat. And so I just spent the next probably 2 or 3 hours battling this bat and trying to obtain it, and I finally cornered it, and not knowing what else to do, I just fucking whacked it with a broom. It was unconscious or in shock, and I just threw it out of the window. And so the next day it was gone. So it didn't die. It woke up from its shock and escaped. But
Or something came by and ate it.
Or something came by and ate it. Maybe a larger bat. But yeah, I battled a bat once, and now I know I'm afraid of bats in the house.
I woke up one night to, luckily I was sleeping with my door shut, because I woke up to thunk, skitter, 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 thunk, skitter, skitter, skitter against my bedroom door. And then I heard it go down the hallway and thunk, thunk, thunk into the bathroom. And I got up, opened my door, ran down the bathroom, and then shut the door in the bathroom. And I was like,
this is all I can do.
I'm all like, yeah, I was like, yep, okay, deal with that in the morning. Don't open this door. But, that was, yeah, usually if that happens, like, corner them into a window and then just open the window and then close the inner side window and then they'll leave on their own accord. That's the easiest way to get out of your house.
Yeah, you know what? I tried that. I even opened our door and it just wouldn't leave. It was just hanging out, like, behind a bookshelf. So I took matters into my own hands and I threw it.
By the way...
brave man handling
our
that.
cat spending all day trying to catch a mouse, and then when it finally corners it, me scooping it up and throwing it outside. I have never experienced a look of betrayal from a living creature in my life.
You fucking bastard.
Just that level.
That was my kill.
That level of betrayal.
My cat was very good at catching inside mice. So good, in fact, we didn't realize she was doing it until, because my mom would wake up and she'd come downstairs and then she'd like, oh, well, there's little drops of red on the carpet. And then we didn't realize what my cat was up to until the day she left half a mouse lying on the floor. And then we realized she'd been catching many mice in the house. And then we realized we had a situation where the mice were getting in the house way too easily. So my cat was very efficient.
Yeah, my cat kind of sucks.
And also a glutton, so she would eat everything she caught. It was like, you're fatty. You're fatty,
exactly
fat.
A cat that will catch mice in the house and eat them entirely. That's perfect. You never get that. Yeah.
Quality cat.
She was a very high quality cat. She was very good at her job.
Yeah,
she took her job very seriously.
Just stays inside and gets pampered and never has to deal with real animals ever. So it's very bad at everything.
One time, my cat, back when I used to let her go outside, she managed to catch a bird, and then she didn't know what to do with it. And she was like, I heard the commotion, I walked to the back door, and she was sitting there, and the bird was stunned, lying on the ground, and she was looking at me, meowing. She was so damn proud of herself, and I went outside, and I threw her in the house. and the bird luckily flew away, but I'm like, no birds, mice only.
Our cat spends all of its time looking outside, and we, like, open up the glass door, and there's a screen door, and it just spends all its time sniffing out there and watching everything, and, like, getting ready to pounce on everything that passes by. And then we slide open the screen door and it can actually get near like a chipmunk or something and it just fucking books it the other way, terrified.
It's like, no, outside's scary, bad.
It's just a perfect mirror of us where we're just sitting on the couch watching life play out on TV instead of living it. And she's just sitting in front of the giant glass door, which is her TV, watching life play out instead of experiencing it.
Yep. Windows are cats' TVs. All right.
Yep.
That's Fruits Basket.
Yep, that's Fruits Basket.
I experienced Yu vs. Kyo in real life.
All right, so there's one more thing that we have in common. I don't know if we just wanted to go into that or if we wanted to talk about something else first.
Talk about that.
Okay. So, Kaguya-sama is the last thing that Kestrel and I are both watching. I thought you liked this more.
I just liked it enough to keep watching it.
Okay. I like it a lot. I think it's my ideal blend of very happy-go-lucky and sad at the same time, because it's kind of like, sort of like I don't know if it's pronounced in media res or on media res or whatever, but it like starts in the middle, and then just kind of cuts back to the main character's childhood. Well, I don't know if I can call her the main character, since there are kind of two main characters. It's another one of those dad-daughter shows, but it begins with the daughter sort of going to her house, like near what I imagine is the end of the show, and sort of finding out his big secret. And that secret is that he is a manga artist, but the manga that he writes is kind of like raunchy and shit, so he doesn't want his daughter to find out about it. And then it just immediately cuts back to that childhood and all he had to do to prevent her from finding out. And it's very quirky and just a lot of strange situations that the two of them wind up in. And then just the end of the second episode, it cuts back to the really sad stuff again. And it makes all of the happy moments a lot more, I guess, depressing, because I don't know what happens to the father. It is alluded to that I guess nothing good. Nothing's confirmed yet in my mind, though, so who knows? It's it feels like it's gonna hurt my heart a lot, and I like shows where I have to dread depression. So I like this so far. And also Ayane Sakura's in it, and Ria Takahashi's in it, and those are two of my top 3 voice actresses. So I'm glad that they are in a thing that I like this much.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that the comedy for this works that well for you.
Me too. And also, like, even it's strange aesthetically too, because it's very minimalist in most of it. But I don't know, I feel like it's the art and the comedy together. They just sort of work in tandem, and it creates an interesting mood that I don't really get from a lot. So it feels different to me, and I think that's why I like it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, but it's very obviously the same creator. The protagonists basically look the same. They're both voiced by Hiroshi Kamiya, and I think it has a very similar comedic style. But yeah, it's I don't know, the comedy for this doesn't work that well for me most of the time. Like it seems too rapid fire gag without enough like that actually lands and makes me laugh. So I guess that's why I'm not super in love with it. Mm-hmm. If it does really deliver on the emotion, then I'll probably appreciate a lot more for that. But so far, only the first episode, or the first scene of the first episode and last scene of the second episode, really allude to anything other than just quirky gag antics with the manga creating team. Basically, there's not even that much of Hime.
No, and I there's gotta be at some point, like it's gotta focus more on her. I think the bit with the yukata in the second episode was quite heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. I think what I like about this doesn't have much to do with the comedy, but more along the lines of just the mood itself. Like, I can't really remember ever like thinking like, haha, that's funny, but seeing everyone having such a good time, it puts me in a good mood, which is seldom. That doesn't happen often. And once again, there's that darker side. At least it seems darker right now. But I'm enjoying it. I wish it looked a little nicer, but I don't hate how it looks. And I like all the characters so far. So I don't know. That's enough for me.
Yeah, it is a very simplistic, minimalist art style, and kind of noodly. But it is well animated within that. And I think I agree that the general tone and like the slice of lifey aspect, just kind of hanging out with the characters, is enjoyable in itself. But I guess I feel like it's just been focused too much on the comedy so far, where the comedy is not that strong, that I don't really love the series yet. But yeah, I think it has a lot of potential with those more serious parts.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to a lot, and that's why I ranked it as high as I did, even though it's not at A territory yet. I've got high hopes, but I kind of need to have high hopes because this season is filled with nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's hard to have high hopes even because, maybe it'll start getting good and then get indefinitely delayed.
Yeah, you didn't have to say that.
Just keeping it real.
Yup. So that's Kakushigoto. It's fun. There's one more show I'm watching. I'm just going to throw it out there. Because, what are we at, like an hour and a half now? Roughly? Yeah, 1:30.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Baseball Girls anime, Tamayomi. And I watched another Baseball Girls anime last year called Cinderella 9. And I have come to the realization that, at least in my experience, there is no well-animated girls' baseball anime.
I feel like even girls' sports anime in general.
Hanebado is nicely
yeah,
animated.
okay.
That's all I can
but
think
these,
of.
are these both like cute girls doing cute things and the cute thing is baseball? Or are they like a sports show like Hanebado?
Okay, so Cinderella 9 was a fair mixture of both. I'd say it was probably leaning towards a sports show, but sports in the slice of life respect rather than the action sports like Hanebado. Cinderella 9 clearly knew about baseball. Like, it knew the rules of baseball. The girls knew how baseball worked and all of that. This has glimpses of that as well, but it's not really portrayed as well. Like, there are moments where I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, baseball stuff, but it's like the girl knows one pitch, and it's like, okay, that's fine. And I don't know, it's hard to explain because this one does know baseball stuff, but I feel like it's neglecting it, and it's just trying to focus on the girls, but the girls themselves, they don't look like normal anime girls, really. And I don't know how much of that is due to the art style or the animation in general, but I don't know. They don't. Nothing about the show looks good. I like it though because it's still girls playing baseball and it's not softball, and like there aren't a lot of like instances of girls playing actual hardball, and so when they do, it's cool because I like baseball and girls, and I want to see them do stuff, and I wish they'd do more stuff in this. So that's Tamayomi. It's a C- in my book right now, just because nothing's happened, and I don't know. I'm still gonna watch it though because baseball's canceled. That's all I have.
Now you got me thinking about Boston sports. Ugh.
All right, so does anyone have anything else they want to talk about?
I guess I could go through whatever we didn't talk about quickly. So Kingdom got a third season after many years, and it has a new director, new writer, new composer, new studio. It looks totally different than the previous adaptations, which is good because they were very CG heavy and kind of hideous. And this has like no CG at all, and it looks a lot nicer. So I'm really glad about that because the content of Kingdom has always been really good. It's just been kind of lacking in the visuals. It still doesn't look great, and I'm kind of having problems with how they're pacing this adaptation so far. But it's still really strong content, and the music is by Hiroyuki Sawano, so it's definitely sounds good.
Woo.
Yeah, so I'm very happy with this season. It's a lot better than I expected based on the first two. And it's been a long time, maybe not quite as long as Chihaya Furu went between the second and third season, but it's been quite a few years.
Yeah, people speak very well of Kingdom, but I could not. The character art in that series is just...
I wish someone would license the fucking manga. Like 60.
How many volumes is it up to now? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem
I
there.
really want to read the manga. I think, from what I've seen, the manga looks really good. I like the art style of it a lot, which is why it's so disappointing that the first 2 seasons of Kingdom were, like, not Berserk bad, but, like, Berserk movies bad. Maybe a little worse. So this at least adheres a little bit closer to that original style, but definitely doesn't do it justice still. But yeah, I'm very happy that it's much better than expected, because it's got a lot of potential.
Cool. I've been meaning to watch Wave, but I haven't got around to watching it yet. Next episode, I will have at least watched 1 episode of Wave.
Or so you claim.
This is my promise to you.
Watch 1 episode of it if by the time you get around to it, the series is canceled? Okay.
Probably. Because that seems to be the way, things I like go. At least that's how every live-action show I ever liked basically happened. I like this thing canceled.
In this case, it's not like it's going to be canceled forever. It's just going to be delayed indefinitely. Now, granted, all of these, are adaptations that will probably not be completely adapted. But that's been anime for decades, so we're used to it. But something that's not happening for is Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma, because that is getting its final season now. The series did end, the manga. It ended
really?
a year or two
I didn't
ago.
know that.
And I believe they said that this, I assume, 1 core season is going to complete the adaptation. Maybe it's 2 cores, I don't know. But it kind of finished its big arc last season, and now it's, I don't know, this feels like more of an epilogue, but I assume it has some kind of story to tell in its last core or more.
All I know is what Chris posted on the Slack channel, which was lots and lots of jiggling.
The series Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma has some fan service in it. Right?
What? When?
I will say that the last season and this season so far, which has only been 1 episode, are big steps below what came before it in the first few seasons. So I'm glad this is the last one.
Like in quality or in fan service?
In quality.
Okay. Oh, jeez. No. Really? It's fallen that dramatically?
I think so. I think it has stopped being creative and just fallen into executing its formula as predictably as possible. So I'm not super excited about it, but, I like that series a lot in the first few seasons, so having it a few steps down still means that it's pretty good. It's just disappointing to see that it didn't keep up its quality throughout its run.
Yeah, I stopped watching that after the first season. I don't know why, because I really liked it. But yeah, I haven't heard a lot of good stuff lately, except for my one friend who said that season 4 was the best season that it's been. So.
I do not agree with that. I think that was the worst season at the time. We'll see how this last one goes, because it's a very different kind of season, I guess. Things have changed a lot.
Yeah, I've heard some things that have changed.
Yeah, so
they make me feel weird.
The first episode is like kind of fillery, and it introduces a new antagonist, I guess, but the most it shows of him is like seeming like a nice guy most of the time, and then there's 1 second of him with a ridiculous evil villain smile. So I don't know what his deal is or what the story is gonna.
What if he just kills
murders everyone?
That would be a fantastic ending. Oh man, the nice boat ending.
The only thing that show had going for it.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're gonna do, because the opening kind of alludes to some weird villainous organization too, which I don't know how I feel about that or how it's going to work. But we've had a main villain of the series who has now been defeated, so I don't know what they're going to do now. But apparently there's some villainous organization or something. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
It's Team Rocket.
So that's that show. And then the last thing that I'm so far watching, it's only been one episode, and it's like close to drop potential, but I'll at least give it a second one, is the Fugo KG Balance Unlimited, which is weird. So this is an adaptation of a novel by the author of the novels behind Girl Who Left Her Time and Paprika. And it is adapted by most of the team that did the adaptation of the show that is called Erased in English. Same director, writer. The studio is Cloverworks this time, but the sub-studio of A1 that did Erased was the studio that went on to become Cloverworks. So that's basically the same thing, and it's also on Noi Tamina, like that was. The only major difference... Oh, and the same character designer. The only major difference is that the music is by Yugo Kanno, who's done the music for all of JoJo after the first season, instead of Yuki Kajiota. And it's not at all what you would expect for a series from the guy behind Girl Who Left Her Time and Paprika and the team behind Erased, because it's like a super absurd satirical comedy. Where it's a dude... I don't know if you guys watched or read Haven't You Heard Sakamoto? Whatever the English title is.
Well, I watched the first
so you got
episodes.
The idea. It's basically if that dude grew up to be like Tony Stark, and...
That, okay, what? Because Sakamoto is already the coolest, so I don't know how he gets even cooler.
What I mean by that is he keeps all the traits of Sakamoto, but he has the unlimited money and futuristic technology of Tony Stark, or Bruce Wayne.
Potential.
Oh no!
Yeah, he like literally has the AI glasses from Spider-Man: Far From Home in the first episode. And it's basically just a series about how this detective just uses literally unlimited money to just buy everything and just throw it away. So he just like drops 1 billion yen for this dude's car in the street and then like crashes it into the guy he's chasing. And then at the end of the episode, it has like a rundown of how much money he spent in the episode. So it's like, 100 billion yen this episode. And then every time he makes a transaction, his little AI sunglasses are like, all right, you just spent 1 billion yen, balance unlimited. I'm like, oh God, we're going to have this every episode. So it's super fucking weird. I have no idea what to think of it.
What's the...
It's
the
just
goal,
a
the aim
detective
of
show, and he solves... I mean, so far he hasn't, like, done any sleuthing. There's no, like, mystery. He's just had to chase a dude who's, like, in a car with a bomb in it. So he's not much of a detective. But basically, they're going to solve crime, and it's him and the side character, or I guess the other main character, who's, like, a normal human being and maybe a good detective. And the protagonist just kind of takes over the show and makes it absurd and ridiculous and over the top. And he has like a little, I don't know, British spy jingle stinger every time he appears. And yeah, it's just about him spending unlimited money to catch these criminals or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. I agree.
It's like, what if it was James Bond and no suspense?
Huh. It's weird. So I don't know if I
That
like it
sounds
yet.
weird.
So I'll give it another episode and see what it is doing. Because, like, it starts off with a few minutes of the secondary character and the detective agency, like, doing detective work. And, like, maybe this will be a character drama. Maybe it'll be a mystery. And then it just intersperses that with random scenes of this absurd protagonist being absurd. And then he just shows up on the scene, crashing his super expensive car into a bunch of other cars. And then the rest of it is just absolute nonsense, where he is virtually the only character. So I have no idea what to expect going forward. That is everything I'm watching so far. Everything all of us are watching so far, I guess. DJ didn't talk about one of the shows he dropped, but I assume he doesn't have much to say.
Oh, Princess Connect Redive. It's based on a gacha game. Lots of cute girls, isekai. There was one thing I liked about it. The protagonist was not a normal, like, fucking, I'm the best, I'm so strong isekai protagonist. He was literally useless. Like a 0-year-old is thrown into the body of Kirito from Sword Art. And so every time he, like, gets into a fight, it's, like, super dramatic, and then he just, like, dies immediately. And so that was fun. It's kind of well animated, and it's got a load of cute girls, but it's just really generic, and I don't want to watch something like that this season.
All right. Do we want to do some recommendations?
Yeah, I've got all mine ready.
Cool.
Okay, so these are all going to be pre-orders. But
which means they're never coming out.
No, they're coming out in June. Maybe. The first of which is Run with the Wind's limited edition box set. It is for sale for $85 right now. That is the complete collection. It comes with an art book. It looks really nice, and you can get it on Right Stuff. Second is another thing that I liked a lot of money, it is a lot of money. I liked it a lot. I combined two thoughts.
I also
into
like
one.
a lot of money.
I do like a lot of money. If you have a lot of money and want to spend $40 of it on a movie, you can pre-order Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl on Blu-ray. I don't know if that comes with anything special. It comes with an art book. Cool. Yeah, so at least you get an art book and stuff, and that's $40 on Right Stuff. Comes out the same day as Run with the Wind on June 30th. And the last of which is actually like 5 things, and that is that all of Shakugan no Shana is being released on Funimation's Essentials thing. So if you like shonen and cute girls, you really can't go wrong with it. And that is going on sale, looks like July 7th, and each collection's like $25, and they're all like 24 episodes. So those are my recommendations, and you should buy them.
My first and most important recommendation is something that I'm shocked in the past 3 or 4 months that DJ never recommended, and I was waiting for it to be closer to release. So you should buy the Clannad and Clannad After Story Complete Collection Blu-ray Steelbook Collector's Edition.
Did I forget to recommend
never recommended that
in all of these episodes? Well then. Thank you, Kestrel.
I was going to do it if you never did, but I assumed you would before me anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot about that. Probably because Lessons in Love came out, which you should also download.
Yeah, so the Clannad Complete Steelbook Collection is coming out a little under 2 weeks. I will certainly be buying that and rewatching the series. It's been a while since I rewatched it last, so that'll be good. Have an excuse to do that. And it looks gorgeous, obviously. I wish it could have gotten a premium box set, but Sentai has mostly just been keeping that to the new stuff and doing steelbooks for older re-releases. So I'm happy it at least gets that. And then also on that same day, except it's Discotech, so if you ordered it from Right Stuff, you already have it, as I do, is Honey and Clover 2, the complete collection on Blu-ray. Viz had released it on DVD back in the day, and it was impossible to track down. So I am happy to have the complete series on Blu-ray now, and I'm going to start watching that pretty soon. And that is by the same creator as March Comes In Like a Lion. She did this many years before. Oh, also, there's a little game that came out called Final Fantasy VII Remake. So if you haven't bought that yet and you like physical editions, that sucks because you won't get it.
I'd like to get physical with Jesse.
But
horny on me.
DK is always horny on me.
That's my job. That's literally why I'm here. Someone needs to.
Yeah, but anyway, if you do not have it and don't mind just downloading your games, you can at least do that. I got the deluxe edition, and it's very nice. And I am enjoying the game so far, and hopefully we'll have time to actually play it. Because it's fun and very pretty, especially if you have an HDR TV. It's a best-looking game I've played, probably.
It looks really nice. And I hear that, at least the first part of it, because it is a several remake, is still like 40 hours or something along those lines.
I think 40 to 50 hours is generally what people have said. And yeah, it's just like the first 10% of the original game. I didn't even know this was a thing, but it has one entire Blu-ray disc just for data that you have to copy to your PS4 first.
Yeah. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 was like that as well.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, those games are like 100 gigs. So
yeah, if you download it, I think it's 90 gigs. So if you buy it, you have to copy 40 gigs from the first disc, and then the rest is on the gameplay disc. It's interesting. But it makes sense, because, man, there's a lot of fucking polygons.
Yeah, it looks so nice. It is a very pretty game. I'm going to play it soon. I've gotta.
It is surprising to me that it's been released and it still is just called Final Fantasy VII Remake. They didn't put like Part 1, Episode 1, Chapter 1.
They don't need to call it anything else. Yeah. People are gonna buy it.
Yeah, but you know, people buy it.
Part 2.
With no Part 1 attached.
Right, yeah, it's weird because they didn't put Part 1 on this, even though we knew it was only Part 1.
Yeah, we know, but somebody had asked a friend of theirs, and I heard this online, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the Final Fantasy VII remake," and they're like, "It's only like the first part of the game, right?" And they're like, "What?"
A lot of people don't know that.
So yeah, that's gonna be interesting when the plebes who don't follow the internet gaming stuff very well are gonna pick it up. Going, I loved that game back, X while ago.
Yeah, and they're going to get 40 hours of gameplay in what used to be like 5.
I mean, it's totally a great game. But I could see how it could be disappointing if you're expecting a full remake of Final Fantasy VII, and you get to the end and you're like, oh, it's just Midgar.
I'd love that, because it'd be like, there's going to be more.
It's great, because we know it ahead of time. But if you're like, all right, this has been awesome, I can't wait to fucking go forward and beat Sephiroth.
Research your purchases.
Do that. But, it's especially unfortunate because it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's going to be like 10 years before we get Part 2. And there's probably going to be like 3 or 4 parts. It's been basically 15 to 17 years that we've been waiting for this anyway.
Oh my god, imagine that it's 10 years and it doesn't come out for another 10 years. That would be the worst thing. It could totally happen.
I mean, it
would be virtual reality at that point. I mean,
the second one will definitely be like PS5 exclusive. And the third one, who knows at that point? I'm sure it'll be... I feel like it has to be like 5 years between each one, and there has to be at least 3.
No,
it's Square Enix.
I feel like they've got to be a lot further along than that. They've been working on it for so long.
They announced Final Fantasy 15 as a spin-off of 13 in 2006, and then
like 10 years before
it was literally 10 and a half years. And Kingdom Hearts 3 was developed for the PS2, and then scrapped and developed for the PS3, and then scrapped and developed for the PS4. And with Final Fantasy 15, that only happened twice. Once for the PS3, for which it was announced like at the beginning of the PS3, and then again for the PS4. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake, it kind of started as the PS3 tech demo before the PS3 was released to give an idea of what it was capable of. And now the first 10% of the story is finally coming out at the end of the PS4's lifespan. So I don't have a lot of confidence.
I hope they prove us wrong.
I hope so too, but I've been burned too many times. But yeah, it'll be fun. I hope I at least get through all of this game. I do wish they had called it Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's just Midgar. That would have been a good subtitle.
Or just
Part 1, Chapter 1, Episode 1, whatever. I guess maybe that means that the next one is going to be Final Fantasy 7-2, which I hope is the case, because we've had 10-2 and 13-2.
Ooh, I have a string of other recommendations that literally just popped up, but Right Stuff just announced a 99-cent flash sale.
Ooh.
But, I mean, I don't really see anything on it that's 99 cents, but there are a lot of like $70 Blu-rays on sale for $10, including Haikyuu Season 1 Collection 2 and Collection 1.
For $10?
For $10. We've got both collections of From the New World for $10. We've got both collections of The Pet Girl of Sakuraso for $10. Golden Time, $10. Whole bunch of shit is on sale for $10 on Right Stuff right now, so if you want to go over there, you can also get Kokoro Connect for $10, and I fucking love that show.
Yeah, I'm reverse searching this. I'm reverse ordering this so I can get the better stuff, because all the stuff that is 99 cents is the shit that's been literally
That's why
sitting
they
in their
do
warehouse
their
for 20 years. So.
blind bags. It's literally just the stuff they can sell.
I'm going to buy all the copies of Kokoro Connect. You can even get the original Dean Fate Stay Night, and I know everybody wants that, so...
I'm looking to see if there's anything that I could recommend out of this pile. Oh, Bodacious Space Pirates.
I was going to say, I think you like
that. That is a show I got in a free blind bag from Right Stuff and promptly gave away.
That's a good show! Log Horizon's in there, too.
I didn't like Bodacious Space Pirates, although I appreciate that it was the opposite of what it sounds like. And also, I got it on DVD, so I didn't want it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Because again,
that's
literally
different.
the things they cancel. Pet Girl Sakura is really good, though. It's by the creator of Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't watch that. I own it.
Oh.
Yeah, I have it. I just haven't watched it.
You should watch it. It's a good show.
I would love Sheena. I already know I would.
Oh, they have the
Mashido,
Deno Coil
is her first name.
collections in here on Blu-ray for like $5.
Yeah, it seems like
that's a
basically
great show.
The Sentai Blu-rays that weren't just super hot sellers are on this sale for $10 or less.
That makes me sad. I love that show.
I mean, probably they're decent sellers too, because there's a lot of pretty big shows in there.
Yeah, they have a box sale going on too, which I'm not quite sure what that means, because I clicked on it and it seemed to be like hardcovers and stuff in there too. So I'm like, okay, so if it has cardboard involved, it's in this sale. So that's happening. Yeah. All right. Kestrel, where can you find us?
You can find us anywhere you find podcasts. Subscribe, rate, review, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. We have an Alexa skill. You can find us on fandompost.com. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at fandompostradio. And you can email us at fandompostradio@gmail.com.
You can find me on Twitter at DJ No Style. And you can find Lessons in Love on patreon.com/lessons in love. The new patch just came out, so get it to do more sex to girls.
Oh, man.
I'm on Twitter at SonicBug, where you can find me, I don't know, complaining about my power going out on Monday during that storm. So, yeah, that was fun.
And
it's not like the start of every horror movie ever. But
I'm on Twitter at FullMetalKyoma.
Cool. So, everybody stay safe. Practice your... what do you call it when you lock yourself?
Hikikomori.
Thank you. Hikikomori tendencies. Enjoy anime while it lasts. And go back and watch your backlogs. Read your backlogs. Do what I am not doing, which is
Call your
mother.
mother.
Call your family. Zoom your family. Yeah.
Zoom?
That's what.
What's
That's
Zoom?
what everybody's using as a video tool to talk to people.
Video conference.
Yeah.
Ah. Conferences.
It's like picture phones. But party line. It's like
Thanks,
party
Cain.
line picture phones. Yep, so join us again in 2 weeks, and hopefully all this anime won't be canceled or postponed at that point. Stay safe, wash your hands, and thanks for listening.